Doing a performance kit on this truck, Ford F-150. It already has a 4.6 IHC ride quality kit. So upper and lower control arms, stock spindle, stock strut, flip kit, stock shackle with drop shock in the back and bloody belly. So he came in to get a performance kit. So I like to assemble everything here on a table before I start the truck. That way I have all the parts here assembled and just ready to install. It just makes my life easier. That way I'm not killing time in between. On the traction bars, I like to get a little bit of NICs, and on the threads, even on the nut, I back off the nut, put some NICs on the threads, and let the nut get full of NICs. I did that one already. I did this one, and while I was doing this one, I was like, oh shit, I should record this. Just like putting them all the way in, and then like putting the zip fittings the same way up. So that way whenever you're installing them, they're facing the same way up, but you know, they're all the way in. You install them and you adjust them out to wherever they need to be. So when you assemble this, when you finish everything that's supposed to be here, that's the whole kit over there. All of these. And let me just lay out all the parts and show you what I do for each part and each kit. This is all the kit. The front kit, so it's just uppers, the coilovers, stock lowers. Just come with everything. It's a bolt-on kit for the front. The rear, everything's a bolt-on kit. So this is the shock relocation kit, the shocks, the mount, the one on differential, the ones that go on top of the top bar, above the spare tire, the traction bars, all the mounts, the flip kit, everything, the shackles with grease fittings, finally. I've been doing that shit on all of them. The only thing I need to do is follow these instructions from the Q1, which is NICs, the lubricant, the threads. So, NICs lubricant. So I'm gonna lower down take out the sticker, lower down the collars, put some NICs in between here on both of them, and I can start taking apart the truck. So I have everything assembled, I have everything ready. I'll show everything. I'll show everything for you guys. I'll show how I take it apart because it does have a control arm. I'll show you how the lowers and how everything's supposed to be set up. The only thing I have trouble with is for the front is alignment. So whenever I align them, IHC says thread the arms half an inch or a certain measurement, and I always get that the alignment is too negative, that I need to thread them out more because I max out the lower control arms. So that's the only thing I have trouble with. I always need to be disassembling it, putting everything back together. So I'll show you how I install the bolts, because the bolts usually go from the inside out. I put them the other way, so that way whoever does the alignment or has to take it apart, it's not that difficult, and you don't need to take apart the full truck and drop down the coilovers and all that bullshit. And I'll show you guys how all of this goes in the back, which is a lot of parts. Papitas. Let me show you what I'm at right now, guys. Have the whole front end assembled already, the coilover, the upper control arm, put back the stock control arm, the bolts for the coilover. Like I said, the coilover, you set it at wherever it's set at. You just back down the collars and put NICs in there. I do that also for the control arms. I back them all the way out and put NICs. Right now this nut is not tightened because I still need to line it. And I don't know if I need to thread it out more or thread it in. I did do 1/2 inch on both sides, all the way around. And we'll see if it needs more or not. But in the front, it's pretty straightforward. So I didn't really show you guys. If it was a stock truck, all you basically need to do is take off the strut and take off the upper control arm and bolt it back on. That's it. So what I am gonna show you is the rear. So this one, like I said, was already dropped. It already had the ride quality kit. So had all that stuff. It already had a flip kit, already had a stock shackle with the shocks. So since this one's a 2-wheel drive, I'm gonna make this performance kit, a 3.5 performance kit. I'll make it to a 4.6 just by leaving the stock shackle in the back. I did replace everything since he did buy the whole kit. I'd rather replace everything while I'm here. I am gonna do the shock relocation, which these brackets going right here. So you need to modify this bracket. Let's cut it. And on this side is you just pull brake lines. That's the only thing I don't like about this kit is where the brackets go, the brake lines go. So you need to bend the brake lines out of the way. And if you don't know how to do it, you could. Well, it looks ugly as fuck. Another thing that I did notice is I need to cut the muffler, and I don't know if I should just cut the tip right there or just take off the whole exhaust. Mostly I always just take off the whole exhaust right here. Just unzip this one, just hammer it out, and this should come out. But almost every truck that I do a performance kit is brand new, so we'll see how badly stuck is on this one. I just want to show you guys this bracket. So this is it before. I do take it off from right here. Take off all of these. Take off this one, so everything's removed. So it has a lot of free play and has all the movement. Let me take that off. Let me take the exhaust off, and I'll be back to show you how I positioned it and how I cut it. The muffler is removed. Like I said, I like taking off the whole complete unit. I don't really like chopping it off. Now to the shock relocation. So passenger side is he's just bolted on. It's just put on there now. But it's just to show you it does rub on the line, so that you need to move the line out of the way because you don't want a little minor rubbing vibrations, and over time it is going to leak. And then on this side, you just got to figure out how much you need to cut. So right there, it looks like you need to cut all the hole, so almost flush down. And I do have the little nut or the little breather back on it just to hold it in place, but put it down. You can see how close that is. So you need to like cut it close to that brake line. For that bracket, fit like this. This bracket, you need to cut it back all the way. Stupid ass dirt with stupid ass Sharpies. Like that. Or even closer. So basically eliminating all the FOMOCO logo and shit. You can use anything you want. You can use a grinder, a sawzall, a little hand grinder, whatever. So there's the after. Like I said, as close as possible without cutting this line. This piece kind of hot. Motherfucking grabbing it. Also, like I said, the brake line. You see how I have to bend it out. Right now, I'm not touching. But I'm not gonna bend the brake lines or set them in place. I wish I could go a little bit back. Or set them in place yet until these are tightened and everything is tightened. And then I could set up all of this, all the lines and everything. So next step on this is putting the top brackets on, putting everything, assembling it on, and then tightening it. And I'll show you my procedure on tightening everything after I bolt on everything by hand. So let me put the top brackets, the shocks, everything, let me bolt it up, and I'll show you how I line it. Actually, I tighten these first by following this line and differential on both sides. From right there, I just bolt up everything. So let me tighten that, and then let me bolt up everything so I can show you how I install everything and make sure that the coilovers, the shocks are straight. So everything's not bolted on, but everything's just set right there. Still move. So what I like to do is, like I said, you tighten this one. I line it up to this line of the differential. So this is straight, this is straight. This side. Straight right there. straight. But the tip too is the bolt for the top, the bolt for the bottom. Make sure you tighten it evenly, because you could tighten this one as much as it. You can tighten it kind of odd, so try to have the same amount of threads on each side. So it could be as tightened as evenly as possible. So once that one's tightened, you start tightening this one, and then this one, and then go to this one, and then go to this one. And the reason I do it like that is because since this one is touching the differential and is as straight as possible, you start tightening everything so everything could be as erect, as straight as possible. So let me tighten this one and then go up and we'll start showing you. Now that everything's tightened, these are tightened, these are tightened. I tightened this one too because it's part of the shock. You can tell the shock is not really gonna move. So wherever it sits, that's where these want to be, need to be. That way the bushings, the shock is not fighting itself, it's not having extra load and everything. Everything is tight. This one's already where it needs to be since the shock is there. I don't know if you guys understand me. If you guys don't, I'm gonna fuck. Just do it the way I do it. I haven't had any comebacks. Any Q ones leaking, I haven't had nothing come back. So let me tighten these and then keep on working on the rest. For the lines, since they were all loose, see how they're all put back already? Just put it back however you feel like it looks the best. It's not touching the brackets. So I start with this one up here. Since I always loosen up this bracket, this bracket. This one sometimes not really, since it's like right here. When you move it, you just bolt them up back and they're gonna be touching. This one's gonna be touching right here. And like this one is gonna be touching right here. Once the brackets are set, you just want to pull on the brake lines very little and very gentle so you could get space between them. You don't want them to be touching. And this one runs like this. This is supposed to run a little bit down and this way. You just try to pull up. Go gentle so that way you don't really bend them or tug them too bad. And the lines don't look that bad. So after this, I need to do the traction bars, but I'm gonna do that on the drive-on lift. So I'll show you guys that once it's full weight is on the truck. I think that's it. I'll put the wheels back on and put it over. So this is the perks or the cons, mejor dicho, of having a 6-inch drop on these 18 and above two-wheel drive 450s. This dude already had a 6-inch drop, like I was mentioning. Rub right here, so I need to notch this little cross member, and they rub right there. That's part of the cab, but this is separate from this. This is just like a little tunnel for the cab to pass like wires or the bolts and everything. Just rubbing. You need to cut it so you can see the treasure. So traction bars are next. So I already have the truck on the drive-on lift. I already installed this side because the IHC crew was recording and they wanted me to, like, just to act like how I'm installing it. It's already bolted down, tightened. This is not that tight because this little plastic washer needs to be moved. This one, yeah. See how it's already adjusted? It has like a millimeter of gap. So, I'll show you guys how I do this side. So this side's loose. Just like that, sitting there. Show you guys all around how this shit goes. There's that top plate. the little bottom plate with the little shark fins. And on this side, the lock goes like that. It's the one thing I hate, this lock thing, but this is the only thing that makes it not move back and forth. Now you see how it's not sandwiched in the middle, it's in the bottom. I always put it in the bottom, don't sandwich it. And then for this plate, yeah, I should show you guys how I install this one. Let me take it off. To install this bracket, I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it's a bracket that pivots. Shit, pivots for the traction bars. Whenever you do it, the hard part about it is the little washer. Every time I see somebody else install it, they never put the washers in the right place. So let me show you guys how I installed it. Tools that I use is just that and that. So the hammer basically is just to hit it from the west side to push it in, and then this little pry tool to push in the bushings, no, these plastic washers to push them in there. So, let me fix you guys up. Certain angle. Hopefully you guys can see. I got no fucking mounts or nothing. So you put the bolt, the plastic washer, hold the plastic washer with your finger. Put this motherfucker in here. There. Now that you got one side in, you got the little plastic washer in there, the bolt. Now with the little pry tool, you pry this one open, you put the little plastic washer, and with the pry tool you push it in there. Let me keep on doing that so I can show you guys. Yeah, piece of tool. Hopefully I can show you guys. Damn dude, I guess it's the bell. Stay there. Plastic washer, right tool. I don't know how good you guys can see this, but
him lifting the fin with the pry tool to fit the washer.
So once that plastic washer is at least inside the lid, just push it in. Already lined up. What I'm gonna do is grab your hand. Done. Now for the traction bars, install that. I'm not gonna do that shit with the traction bars. Fuck that. Now that it's all installed, I did put it on this hole, not this hole. You can put it on this hole, but if you do put it there, this bushing is gonna be pushed down way more, and you need to adjust this out way more, which I don't really like adjusting it out because you don't want the threads, too many threads to be poking out. See, look how this one, very little adjustment. You don't even need to. The more threads you have in there, the stronger the bar is. The less threads, the more you're willing to strip it or fuck it up or bend it. So once you have it like that, once you have everything bolted down, remember this bolt don't go that tight because of the plastic washers. You still want it to pivot. Now at this point you want to adjust your traction bars, and you want to see how far this is. Well, on this truck I gave them a millimeter off, very little gap. The same thing on this side. Let's see, let me show you guys. This one has a very light gap. You can barely see it, but yeah, I'm gonna move it up. Just in this one, you need this. Close. looking at the part, not the screen. Adjusted and tightened. All you need to do, all I really need to do is just grease it up. So I'm gonna go to the front, do alignment. I'm killing too much time by doing this. So. I know I mentioned that I hate these things. Those things. Yeah, it looks ugly as fuck. What the fuck? But yeah, I hate these things. The only reason I hate them is because since they're riding on the bolt, imagine my finger's the bolt, and my finger has threads. The threads are gonna do this over time. You see that little shading inside. There's a reason why I have these just tirados aquí. And this ain't the first ones. So, you see those, that shiny part? That's after the threads already ate through the paint, and it's just metal on metal, and that's where you get the squeaking from when you install these performance kits. Now for the alignment, this is actually the first time, and I'm actually surprised because every time I do a performance kit, the upper arms, I always take them out 1/2 inch on both sides. So the camber adjustment, this time I put them all the way in to give me all the positive caster, to give me all the positive caster that I can. And look what it gave me. Now this side, it was pointing a little bit out, that it had to fix this toe, but this is what the alignment looks like. I haven't touched it, I haven't really done nothing to it. The only thing I need to do is fix this camber. So take out the arm very slightly out, and I'll be good. I could do both. I could do both and give them more positive camber if I could adjust the arm in. Either or. I like how this looks, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna move with this one. Take out the arm more and make it more positive camber, so I can actually adjust it to be like this one, and just let it go like this. So. Just because you can see it. Yeah, you can see where it's cambered in. And then this one, not really. So you need to assemble the arm, the upper arm, and adjust it out a little bit more, and then I'll come back to this screen again. This is the only good reason why, like I said, put the bolts like this. Took one off. So normally they go like that, the head of the bolt inside, bolt pointing like this. Now imagine trying to get that shit out through there. You can, but like putting it in there, fuck that shit. This is way better. Putting the bolts like this. Since these arms are adjustable and you want to adjust them, you don't need to be taking apart, take off the strut, take off everything. You just pull it up. Another tip on these kits, so don't be greedy with your fucking grease. Put grease in them bitches. You see how everybody you fucking see. Sure, the grease comes oozing out of the arm like that. That way you know everything is greased up inside, filled up. That way, I know grease is expensive, but I'd much rather fill it up with grease, spend that extra grease on all that shit, than having the customer come back in a month, or I don't know how much, and him complaining that it's squeaking, and it's because you didn't fucking grease it up. So, you finish up the alignment, already bolted up everything, everything's already tightened. And I'll show you the alignment screen right now. So, let's see what comes out. roll it back up and roll it back over. Yeah, this whole move. But the camber on point. And then custom. I'm gonna put the on, back in park, turning it on. What's that? Just put a strap. It's exactly what I wanted. Just fix the toe, and I'll be good. I'll fix it real quick. Fix the other side. And there you have it. Perfect alignment. So I know it's 6'0", 5'8", which is not bad. Let me show you guys. Bar graphs. Perfect. All I need to do right now is just set the toe, let it go, and torque down the lower control arms, and I'll be good to go. Also need to grease up the traction bars, but we'll do that right now. Let me just finish this shit up, torque everything down. I'll show you guys my torque spec for these Ford F-150s, I guess 19 and 21s, Chevy GMCs, anything that aligns to the bottom. I do it at my torque spec, which is like 180 foot-pounds, and I've never had problems with those. So let me set the toe, let it go, and I'll be done with this truck. Alignment's done, so the toes perfect, caster's perfect, camber's perfect. All I really need to do is tighten. All I really need to do is tighten the lower control arms. And as you can see, it's at 180, 183, 4, whatever. Tighten these lower bolts, and you'll be set to go to the front. All I really need to do is adjust the coilovers, but I need to test drive that truck first, and then I'll show you guys my specs, how many compressions, how many clicks for compression, how many clicks for rebound, and everything, and for the back too. So try to make it right like stock.
So I forgot to record the rest of the truck because I had another one coming after lunch that I had to finish since it was Friday and didn't want to work on Saturday. But long story short, I just set all the shocks at 4 clicks of compression and 2 of rebound, and it felt good for what it is.
Ho, ho, ho!